Council meeting at 7:01 p.m. All council members are present. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Our first item of business is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items not on the agenda. This comment period is limited to the first 30 minutes of the meeting, and each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. I don't have anyone signed up, but is there anyone wishing to make public comment tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports, items, and comments from mayor and council. I will start to my far right. Councilmember Rivera.
Thanks. I'm actually ready this time.
All right.
Yeah. We will hear more about it shortly, but Councilwoman Barrington and I did youth commission interviews. We had 6 amazing kids. We had to dwindle down to 1, and it was an incredible process. As always, we are gifted in this community and this county with amazing volunteers, and that goes from every age group. I mean, even our kids, even our high school students and middle school students are just absolutely amazing. I was, I don't know, again, very, very encouraged by the future of our community. And then on the same note, we attended the Chambers Road Trail tunnel mural, again done by the Youth Commission. And if you get a chance, it runs from essentially north of Heirloom neighborhood on the east-west trail towards Newland Gulch neighborhood, and or vice versa. And it is just absolutely amazing. It tells a story. It is so much to look at. You can search for dwarves, you can look for faces in trees, and there's just a ton to do, and it is just an incredible endeavor. And when we heard about it, I in my head had thought about, it's just, not say just, that's horrible. It's a mural. You walk in, it's, I don't know how many hundreds of feet of walls and ceilings, and it's just a huge project, and absolutely a wonderful addition to our community. And then last Thursday, I had Cherry Creek Basin Water Quality Authority. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Barrington.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I didn't have much to report, but everybody get comfortable because I have quite a bit tonight. So I won't repeat the Youth Commission, but that was fun. It was really good to get to know everybody a little bit better. On the 21st, we attended the HBA Forum at the Highlands Ranch Mansion, and we had just an amazing discussion about construction defect laws. And just basically, until we can solve this, maybe if it's one municipality at a time, or I don't know how this is going to happen, but our attainable housing is just not going to happen. So we need to start working on that. On the 27th, I attended the employee pancake breakfast, and then later that day, Legend High School homecoming parade. On the 28th, I attended the Douglas County Housing Partnership Board meeting, where we discussed Proposition 123, but I'll wait to discuss this as it's an agenda item. And then we were also looking at some budget amendments because of insurance costs. We all know how our homeowners insurance is going up. Same thing is affecting our affordable senior communities and all of the communities that the Douglas County Housing Partnership supports. That same day, I attended an event called Vintage and Vibrant, which was an all-day event at the Pace Center, and it was a packed house, all-day event for our aging population, and it was for them to learn what services are available to them. And just a statistic that I wanted to share, the U.S. Surgeon General has declared chronic loneliness as an epidemic. And so this is something that I really want to start talking about with our aging population. Then I ended the day with an event for Covered Colorado, which is an organization to help raise awareness and ultimately stop human trafficking here in our community. Yes, our community. And then I got to end the week on a more fun note with the town-sponsored Fall Festival and Laser Light Show. And thank you to staff. I mean, it was touch and go with that laser light show, but we had a break in the weather, and it was amazing. I was really happy to be there. Great job, everyone. Thanks.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I also attended the Fall Fest and had a great time. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Dyak.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Let's see, on the 19th, I did an E470 presentation for Thornton. We did one here in Parker on the 25th. On the 20th, Dr. Cog board meeting, we talked about Proposition 123. I shared with us that we're working with our county partners through the housing partnership. That was something that was a little bit different than what everybody else was doing. We talked about a comprehensive economic development strategy, or CEDS update. Dr. Cog is trying to become certified for that, so we can potentially get money within the region for economic development. And we also had a overview or update on the Area Agency on Aging, and at a very high level, there's a significant number of seniors who have needs and demands, and there's not enough service providers and not enough funding. So that's going to be the challenge going forward. Hopefully we can find a resolution. And 28th, had an E470 Finance Committee meeting. It's budget season, so we talked about budget amendments for 2023 and budget briefings, draft budgets for 2024. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes.
Yeah, so a lot's already been covered. So I'm also going to add that on Thursday, September 28th, I attended a ribbon cutting for the Rustic Butterfly here in Parker, hosted by the Chamber, and it was just wonderful. This company's actually been in Parker 9 years, but they finally have a retail space, so you guys should go check them out. And then I just have to give a little shout out because 2 of my friends' kids helped paint the mural at Chambers, so I'm especially fond of the phoenix and the bat eyes, I'm just saying. And then I had fun at the Fall Fest, helping out at the DBA. The Downtown Business Alliance actually sponsored the beer garden at the Fall Fest, so got to help out around there and meet a lot of people, so it was wonderful.
Thanks. And Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, I also went to the Fall Fest with my family and children this past weekend. It was beautiful. The drone show was outstanding. So really, really well done. I want to thank the event planning department. And Brooke Spain tells me they have a new event planner, so welcome her as well. I did have an opportunity with the mayor to honor Grace Baptist Church here in Parker and honor Pastor Ward Smith for all his outstanding contributions with his staff. I submitted them for a certificate of recognition about a year ago, and so we honored them this weekend. And I also want to do a shout out to Heather's Pantry, which also partners with Grace Baptist Church in their diaper drive and their food market as well. Legend High School. A bunch of us here on council went to the Legend High School homecoming, and we had the mayor dress up in the homecoming Broncos uniform. Was that Broncos?
Legend Titans.
Legend, sorry. Yeah. I couldn't tell the difference.
A winning team. A
Okay.
winning team.
Right. Yeah. So the mayor looked really good in his outfit there, and we had people throwing candy. My children were throwing candy. Councilmember Wink's son was throwing candy. We were in the front doing that. And then we had Councilmember Barrington in the back with Councilmember Hendricks on the side as well, trying to hold us back from throwing the candy, and my son from falling out of the fire truck. And then I also had the opportunity with the mayor to honor Crossroads Community Church, Pastor John Snyder. Again, this was submitted about a year ago to recognize, again, the outstanding contributions that Crossroads Community Church, their partners in the community as well, how much they partner with Secor Cares and also 7-Step Ministries. So one of my goals as a town council member throughout this entire time I've been on town council is to make sure that our community partners are properly honored, and that is one of my main goals on this as I serve on town council. Thank you.
Great. It has been a busy couple weeks indeed. Just to add to that, on September 21st, I attended the Douglas County Community Foundation Heroes Gala, honoring all of our first responders in Douglas County. That was amazing. On the 22nd, I emceed the New Dimensions of Hope Gala. It's a gentleman here, I think he lives in Aurora, but they work out of Global Village Academy here in Parker, and they have started a school in Africa, and this was a fundraiser for them. And they had Nobel Prize winner Lima Bowie is her name, from Libya, Libya, one of those, as the guest speaker, which was pretty amazing lady. On 9/23, just because Councilmember Hefta cast shade on me for missing a farmer's market, I was the Lone Ranger at the Fall Fest meet and greet of the council and mayor on 9/23, so I held the water all to myself. And then Legend Homecoming was fun, but your son wasn't the only one falling out. Councilmember Barrington and I took almost a couple trips out of the back of the fire engine too, so that was good. And then to wrap it all up, Lehman Academy, I got a chance to speak to their 6th, 7th, and 8th grade leadership class last Friday, and that was pretty amazing. We have as we see from our youth commission here tonight, Parker has no shortage of dynamic young leaders ready to step in and serve. I just had to make sure none of them were going to be 18 by next year, so to save me. So, anyways, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of the consent agenda items unless council votes to move an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. So council, you have before you consent items A through F for your consideration.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move to remove consent agenda item F from the consent agenda, please.
Second.
The motion was made by Rivero, seconded by Wilkes. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. So council, I'll entertain a motion on consent agenda items A through E.
And
And G.
Oh, and G, sorry. A, E, and G.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items A through E and G, please.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Hefta that time. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Do we have to go back and vote on the,
yes, at this point, I'd ask for a motion to continue agenda item 4F
yep, okay.
to the date of October 16th.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I move to continue to a date certain of October the 16th. Agenda item 4F, contract over $100,000, Lumen Metro Ethernet Circuits contract.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Wilkes that time. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Next up is our resolution. Resolution number 23-061.1, a resolution to appoint one regular member to fill a vacancy on the Parker Youth Commission. I looked up and saw Bryce, and you can't be the one to do that, so, all right.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Town Council members. I'm pleased to present for your approval Resolution number 23-061.1, a resolution to appoint one regular member to fill a vacancy on the Parker Youth Commission. Serving as an advisory capacity to the Town Council, the Parker Youth Commission provides a means for youth in the town to learn more about the process, participate, and represent the needs of the community's youth. The commission consists of 9 members serving 2-year terms. Currently, the Parker Youth Commission has one regular vacancy for the term expiring August 31st, 2025. Candidates for this vacancy completed an extensive application, submitted a letter of recommendation, and were interviewed by the review committee. This committee consisted of Councilmember Barrington, Councilmember Rivero, Cultural Education Manager Kirsten Fletcher, Manager of Programs for Recreation Aaron Kuhn, and myself. The Review Committee recommends the Town Council approve Resolution Number 23-061.1, which would accomplish the following. Appoint one regular member to the Parker Youth Commission with the vacancy for a 2-year term ending in August 31st, 2025. And that here is Isabella Corriere.
All right, council, I think we're going to skip with asking staff any questions, and we're going to just go right to the proposed commissioner, if that meets your needs here.
I yield. We got to know her at our interview, so I would yield to the rest of council for questions.
Same.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions, but I'm very happy to see all you up there and contributing to your futures.
Councilmember Dyak?
You know Laura's going to be the one who asks
I
the
do,
questions,
I do.
so I will not stand in her way.
I do, all right. Councilmember Wilkes?
Actually, I do have a question for you. Why did you choose to apply for this in a short answer?
I chose to apply for this because I think that it would help me to help my community.
Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Hefta?
And I know that you have many outstanding qualities because the interview team has probably thoroughly grilled you on everything. So I know you probably know yourself very well. And so my question is, what do you hope to contribute to the team here on the Parker Youth Commission? You have those folks standing behind you. What special quality or skill do you bring to the Parker Youth Commission?
I think that I can just help be a team player and just get to know everyone.
And hopefully that's a wonderful answer because, you know, as you see us up here, a lot of folks often give us a hard time in the community because they say, wow, you always vote 6-0 or 5-1, but all the time you vote 6-0. You know why we vote 6-0? Because we are team players. And so I wanted to make that point. That is a phenomenal answer. Being a team player with other Parker Youth Commission means that you're going to collaborate together, you're going to engage in discussion, you're going to war game ideas, you're going to come up with new projects, and you're going to agree upon them. So that is an outstanding answer, and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So I just have one for you, Isabella. What's one thing we don't know about your mom and dad that you want to make public right now? They're smiling, so it's good. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. Smart person doesn't answer that question. All right, so hang there tight just for a second. We got to finish a couple pieces of business here. So with that, I'm going to open this up for public comment on resolution number 23-061.1 at 7:18. Anyone from the public wishing to make comment on this appointment? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:18 and bring it back to council for any final comments. Councilman Rivero?
No comments. I guess one comment. Again, I just want to state what an amazing group of applicants we had. Congratulations, Isabella. You definitely went through the process and you had some stiff competition. I've reached out and talked to a couple of those, and they are not giving up. We will definitely see one of those gentlemen next year when the applications come back up. And another gentleman that came in front of us will be newly appointed to the Douglas County Youth Commission to report to the Douglas County Commissioners and be heavily involved in his community. So some absolute stars in the midst.
All right, Councilmember Barrington?
Congratulations, Isabella, and to all of you. We're excited to see what you guys can do this year.
Great. Councilmember Hendricks?
No comment.
Councilmember Dyak?
No, congrats.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Welcome.
Councilmember Hefta?
Welcome, Isabella.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on resolution number 23-061.1.
I move to approve resolution number 23-061-1.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Rivero. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks? Yes. Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Welcome, Commissioner. Appreciate you being here. All right, with that, you know it's picture time, right?
Uh-oh.
Alyssa's here with the picture. She's ready. All right. All right, we're going to get one with her first, and then we'll bring out.
Okay.
All right, yeah, come on down.
smiles, everybody. One more. Great.
All right, so we'll get one mom and dad down here.
Family,
Family picture.
come on down. Yeah.
Everybody ready? Isabella? Gang?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Youth Commission, come on in. Okay, well, I stand plus you'll be really short, so.
And I'll have you girls on the ends kind of squeeze in a little bit. Ready, look at me. One more. Great. Thank you.
Always a great night. And just as a point of personal preference, I just want to say thank you to Councilmember Rivero for noticing the talent we had within the interview pool and going to great lengths. And Representative Brandy Bradley also says her thanks for getting Dylan to a good place. And I think he's going to do amazing things in the county.
I think his passion is well suited for the county versus what we have under our umbrella versus what the county has under their umbrella. His passion fits under their umbrella.
I agree. So thanks for taking those all extra steps to get him to the right spot. I appreciate it. All right, next up is resolution number 23-0383, a resolution authorizing the town manager to file a commitment with the Colorado Department of Local Affairs pursuant to Proposition 123 in state law and acknowledging the town's commitment to a regional partnership with Douglas County jurisdictions. Now, Mr. Matthews, you're presenting.
Right.
You don't want to start doing youth commission stuff?
We need planners.
Next time. Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, as noted before you tonight is a resolution regarding Proposition 123. In November of 2022, voters approved Proposition 123, which directed 0.1% of Colorado income tax to assist in the development of affordable housing. It also establishes the State Affordable Housing Fund, and the local requirements to be eligible and receive funding are to certify the baseline number of affordable for sale and rental units in your community, and to commit to increasing affordable units by 3% a year for the next 3 years. Participation in Proposition 123 funding will be a regional approach. Douglas County Housing Partnership has agreed and will coordinate member jurisdictions' participation and requirements. Desired outcomes of the Proposition 123 funding are more down payment assistance opportunities for first-time buyers, more housing opportunities, a greater variety of housing opportunities, and land banking opportunities. To participate in Proposition 123, the town must submit a commitment to DOLA by November 1st, 2023. The town is working with other Douglas County jurisdictions to prepare an intergovernmental agreement to establish a method of distributing affordable housing credits that are in excess of each jurisdiction's baseline commitments. So again, taking that regional perspective. Staff recommends the Town Council approve Resolution 23-083 to file a commitment to participate in Proposition 123 funds and to partner with other Douglas County jurisdictions to develop an intergovernmental agreement to distribute excess Proposition 123 housing credits between communities. That completes my presentation. As always, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Excellent. So we'll hit staff questions first. We'll start with Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, Bryce. Thank you for your presentation. Is there any penalty if we don't reach any housing goals on this?
So if we don't meet the 3% over the 3 years, the penalty is that we cannot participate in Proposition 123 funds for the next year. So all it means is that 1 year we can't participate in the program.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Wilkes.
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Dyak.
Bryce, what are the benefits of a regional approach from a Parker perspective?
So the biggest benefit of a regional approach is that each community is required to meet the 3% per year, or per year over 3 years. And if a community doesn't meet that, for example, if Parker were not to, if another community, Castle Pines, the county, Lone Tree, were to have excess, the IGA would allow that to distribute to us, so we could meet that threshold, again, on a regional basis, because this is not an issue that's a series of islands. It's countywide and, quite frankly, metro-wide and statewide.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington.
So just a couple clarifying questions. So if, so we don't get to directly decide where the funds go, but by applying, we can at least apply. I mean, by getting our form in, we will at least have the ability to apply for the funds. Whereas if we don't, we would never even have that opportunity.
Right, so it allows Douglas County Housing Partnerships, other affordable housing entities to apply for and use funds within the community to invest in the town.
And then I guess it sounds like we're probably looking at hopefully getting our first draft of the IGA in maybe about a month. We don't know that for sure, but.
Right, so the Douglas Housing Partnership is working with the Douglas County Legal Department to work on drafting what that IGA will include, and then hopefully we'll see that upcoming.
Thank you.
Councilmember Rivera.
I still think they should have used our legal department, but that's anyway, so regardless of whether or not we buy into this or we go into this resolution, there's still tax dollars leaving Douglas County to go into. There's no opting out of paying into this, correct?
That is correct. Our residents would still be paying into Prop 123. This allows it to be distributed back to the community.
Yeah, so the only way to hopefully, even possibly, get some money back into our community is to participate in this. Is that correct?
That's accurate.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we're going to open up for public comment at 7:29. Anyone wishing to make public comment on resolution number 23-083? Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:29. Council, any final comments? We'll start with Councilmember Rivera.
I think in my 11 years I've sat up here, I've made myself very known that I'm a free market guy. I believe that the problem with our housing was addressed earlier by Councilwoman Barrington and its construction defects, and I don't always think that the government's role to stimulate a certain style of housing or a certain genre of housing or whatever you want to say is the answer. My point here, though, is due to my question to Bryce. We're paying into this regardless. And if we don't participate, those dollars are never coming back to Douglas County. If this does allow us to do some wonderful things that the Housing Partnership has done and maybe stimulates those and we get some of those dollars back into this county, I do find that this could be beneficial to our community. I also knowing how construction cycles work and how long it takes projects to get off the ground, we're talking years and not, 1 year. So with us having a aggregate to allow projects to go through, Castle Rock might be doing a project this year, and there'll be excess housing, and that can carry someone else over to their project comes up next year. It's a much more realistic way to meet the needs of this state obligation if we do it regionally. Because I don't think, unless you're Denver, Aurora, frankly, Denver or Aurora, you're not going to build the amount of houses needed to pay into this. And the only way I believe that we're going to be able to benefit in Douglas County is to do this regionally. I will hold my personal opinion that maybe this was written for big communities to get money out of the suburbs, and it's, it is what it is. But I think this regionally, we've always had a great success regionally coming together in the South Metro to get dollars back into our communities, and I think that's what this is.
Councilmember Barrington?
Yeah, so sitting on the board of the Douglas County Housing Partnership, it's nice that we're going to have a seat at the table when the IGA, when it comes forth. But, just a couple of things I wanted to point out. So for Parker, based on the census, DOLA found that we have 2481 affordable homes right now. And so since we have to commit to increasing that number by 9% in the next 3 years, that number looks like 224 units, which is a lot. And most municipalities had very similar concerns with regards to the question, well, what if we can't meet our numbers? And what's that going to look like? So this is why the jurisdictions are working on the IGA, so we can take a regional approach and kind of share the credits. So it's not going to be all on one jurisdiction. There's so much to talk about. I think I'll just leave it at that.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No comment.
Councilmember Dyack?
Well, when the voters approved this, looking at this when it was presented to us, I didn't really think Parker had enough to offer this. We're largely built out, 85% built out. A lot of our zoning is already in place, and there's fairly limited, from what I saw, opportunities to seize this opportunity. So it was good that staff came before us, and they educated us up on what other communities were doing, and quite honestly, those discussions were happening at the elected level as well. Listening to other communities within Douglas County as to what they had already in the queue, there was a potential to help out our partners, our fellow municipalities within Douglas County, because they're further along or they are focused on this issue. So having the ability to partner with the county, with the housing partnership, I think is great, and it opens up potential monies to other communities who are well positioned to provide what this bill, I believe, is intended for. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking on that, since we are, as Councilmember Dyack said, so close to build out, what's great about this is what I said last year and what I said at the beginning of this year. Affordable or attainable housing, it's apples and oranges from what people have the stigma of as low income. We're talking about being able to have our young adults who work in Parker and work close to Parker be able to afford a house here. We're talking about grandma and grandpa who are retired and on a fixed income and want to be able to live near their kids and their grandkids. And even if it's not something that we can make happen directly right here, all of our sister cities that are around us, I'm excited that there's going to be an option for them, because right now it is a real crisis, and I'm very excited that there's something in play that can give back to our community directly, but can also create some of these houses for the people that really do need them around us. So I'm excited.
Councilmember Hefta?
And just wrapping this up with a couple of thoughts. As Councilmember Dyack mentioned, the voters passed Proposition 123. The voters passed this. As Councilmember Rivero mentioned, residents are still paying into Proposition 123 no matter what. So we're still paying. And lastly, as I had stated, the failure, and Bryce had answered the questions, the failure to achieve the 9% increase would result in the town being ineligible for Proposition 123 funding for 1 year, beginning in 2026. And Councilmember Barrington had also stated that as well, with Councilmember Wilkes adding in the need for affordable housing. We do have a need for affordable housing, and that need is exactly what Councilmember Wilkes stated. We folks are working in Parker, and they need to be able to work here and live here and enjoy Parker as well. So with that said, I don't see that there's any downside to this at all, and that for me, this is a yes.
Yep. Councilmember Barrington?
I just wanted to add one other thing. The Douglas County Housing Partnership was awarded a grant through the Colorado Association of Realtors to do a needs assessment study for each jurisdiction, also within the partnership.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on resolution number 23-083.
I move to approve resolution number 23-083.
Second?
Motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Hefta. Rivera?
All right.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. First up is our public hearing for tonight, and I'll open that public hearing at 7:37 p.m. Public hearing on Newland Crossing Townhome Sketch and Preliminary Plan with the applicant Lennar Colorado LLC and PCS Group. Julia Duncan, welcome back, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Before you this evening is the Newland Crossing Townhome Sketch and Preliminary Plan. The subject property is generally located at the northeast corner of Main Street and Chambers Road. The site is currently undeveloped and is west of the Carousel Farm single-family development, south of Stonegate single-family development in unincorporated Douglas County, east of Sierra Ridge single-family residential and a self-storage development in unincorporated Douglas County, and north of the Cobblestone Riding Club and open space. The applicant, PCS Group, is requesting the approval of the sketch and preliminary plans for the Newland Crossing townhomes. The sketch and preliminary plan applications propose 96 attached single-family townhome lots and 3.877 acres of open space. Newland Crossing filing number 2 replatted Tract M for the future development of these townhomes. The applicant has completed a master utility, traffic, and drainage studies for the entire Newland Crossing PD, which is shown on the screen above, that has been reviewed by staff and determined to be acceptable. The proposed sketch and preliminary plans are consistent with the previous town council approved sketch and preliminary plans. The townhome site location is designated as Planning Area 5 in the Newland Crossing PD. The sketch and preliminary plans applications are for the 96 attached single-family townhome lots and the 3.877 acres of open space. Maximum building heights up to 40 feet, density and setbacks will be required to be consistent with the town's multifamily standards and the PD guide, and will be reviewed during the final plat and site plan review process. The Newland Crossing development will be served by the West Parker Road extension as a new collector roadway. West Parker Road will provide 2 access points for the overall development from Main Street and Chambers Road. The collector road forms the backbone and circulation within the development. Approved Newland Gulch filing number 2 shows an east-west connection between the Newland Crossing development and the existing Carousel Farms development. The Newland Gulch trail tracks will serve as a future pedestrian circulation component. The site will provide 2 points of access from West Parker Road. 1 point of access will be Tundra Top Drive, which will create right-of-way street access internal to the site and include alley intersections. A second point of access will provide a private drive connection to West Parker Road. These are 2 different charts that show the park space provided within the entire Newland Crossing PD. The total Newland Crossing PD requires 5.966 acres of parks, and 6.026 acres of parks are being provided in Planning Areas 1 and Planning Areas 2. Therefore, no additional parks are required for this filing. However, 1.88 acres of open space is required, and 3.877 acres of open space is being provided. Staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined that the project is consistent with the master plan. The proposal provides adequate access, infrastructure, drainage facilities, and design considerations, and utility providers have confirmed capacity and availability. All referral agency comments have been addressed or will be addressed at the time of the final plat, and the public notice requirements have been satisfied. Therefore, staff and the Planning Commission recommend Town Council approve the Newland Crossing Townhomes Sketch and Preliminary Plan. This concludes staff's report. The applicant's representative is also here tonight and has a presentation for council.
Great. Thank you, Julia. We'll go to staff questions first. We'll start to my right. Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
Questions? Councilmember Barrington? Councilmember Rivero?
A couple questions. Who will the water be? Who would be the water provider for this?
It's Stonegate Metro District.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And one more question, apologies. Is there any interconnection in the roadway to Stonegate Villages at all, or is this just exiting onto Chambers and Main Street?
Just onto Chambers and Main Street, and then into the Carousel Farms community.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions, thank you.
Great. Do you want to introduce the applicant, Julia?
Sure, we have Alan Cunningham here from PCS Group to present.
And Mr. Cunningham, if you'll state your name and address for the record.
For sure.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Alan Cunningham with PCS Group, 200 Calumet Street, Denver, 80223. Thanks for that great presentation, Julia. I'll have a couple of redundant slides that we'll probably go through quickly since she did a good job on context. So next slide, please. As Julia mentioned, you can see that this slide just quickly highlights all of Newland Crossing and where that townhome parcel sits that's colored in yellow with the TH on there. It's 9.4 acres. It's about 10% of the site. The site's 101 acres for all of Newland. Next slide, please. So this one just gives you a little bit different context. It's a bird's eye perspective where we overlaid the plan onto it. I think the benefit of this one shows how the site is bisected by Newland Gulch. So in the background, you can see where Stonegate is, but as mentioned, we're not connecting to that. You can see the previously approved single-family detached to the north of West Parker Road. West Parker Road's that curving road that goes on the north side of the yellow parcel and the red one. And then the yellow parcel is the 9.4 acre townhome parcel that is before you tonight. Next slide, please. This one's just another version of the plan taken from the PD. As Julia mentioned, we're consistent with that PD. PD was basically 101 acres, allowing for up to 450 units. I recognize everyone. I think you probably remember the sketch and preliminary plan that we did for Newland previously with this PA5 parcel for the townhomes. As mentioned, that's 96 units coming in. The PD allows for 100 units on that parcel. We bring in 96, so it's in compliance, and that brings the total for Newland to 290 units. So again, compliant with the PD. Next slide, please. Colors are a little tough to see on here, but with the labels, just to give you an idea of phasing, you'll notice filing 1 isn't denoted on here. That was just the original plat for Newland Crossing. So filing 2 is shown in sort of a pink color on the right side. That's to the east side of Newland Gulch. That's approved, and I believe the erosion controls installed and construction starting on filing 2. Filing 3 is in the very final approval stages, hopefully to follow right behind filing 2 in terms of grading and construction. And then filing 4 tonight is the last component of Newland Crossing that's before you for consideration. So next slide, please. This one just shows a little bit different context. It kind of breaks down for you so you can see filing 2, again, on the right side of the screen, the east side of the Gulch, that was previously approved 109 single-family units. Filing 3 on the other side, another 85 single-family units, and then this filing 4 is the 96 townhomes. PA3 and PA4 that you see on the plan were not purchased by Lennar. Those were commercial parcels that were held back by the previous landowner. So those would be slated for future development by others, but not part of this application at all. Next slide, please. Just to give you an idea of some of the architecture, the site's comprised of a range of 3 to 6 unit buildings. The unit sizes are, if memory serves, 1,099 square feet is the smallest one, up to a little over 1,600, 1,620 something for the larger townhome units. 3 to 6 unit buildings, and to have some diversity within the site, there's a few different architectural styles. Some elevations of them shown here. There's a Colorado modern, some contemporary farmhouse, and a modern hill country. And then included the perspective in the upper left-hand corner, just because I think it gives a better idea of the quality of the architecture, the diversity, the articulation in the building, and with materials, how it kind of brings it to life. And is quite nice architecture for these townhomes. Next slide, please. So obviously this one's a prettier picture. It's an illustrative version of the site plan. The preliminary site plan has been administratively approved. Obviously before you tonight is preliminary and sketch plan, but I thought this one did a good job of just depicting the site for you so you could see where the townhome units sit, where those access points that Julia mentioned with Tundra Top Drive, the public right-of-way with the cul-de-sac, and then the connectivity to it. Excuse me. And then also touching on the parks component that Julia was talking about. Parks requirements this was always planned as part of the overall community with these 96 units. And so in the Parks Facilities Master Plan, the neighborhood parks are distributed throughout Newland. And you can see just across West Parker Road is the neighborhood park. That was by design. There's a couple of pocket parks up to the north of the community for the single-family detached. And this one was placed directly adjacent to the townhome, so it was proximate to this little piece of density. Next slide, please. And then lastly, if we can go back. Lastly, at Planning Commission, we were asked about parking, and because of the townhome projects, everybody wants to know how they're parked. And we're happy that the way this one is laid out, we actually have excess parking. We're required to provide 186 parking spaces, and we're proposing, or including within the plan, 247. So basically the residential units are all garage parked for them, and then that excess parking comes in the form of guest spaces. We have excess head-in spaces off of the private network and alleys, as well as up to 40 spaces on Tundra Top Drive. So we feel good about that, and just where the labels are shows the distribution of those spaces within the neighborhood. Next slide, please. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I'm here, and Joseph Huey with Lennar is also here to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Councilmember Hefta, let's start with you.
So did you say there was some open space or a park on there?
So within this portion of the community, there's 3.8 or 3.9 acres of open space, which is a couple acres more than what the requirements would be. The park component is directly across the road. It was included within filing two, but always factored into the entirety of the community. When we did the Parks Facility Master Plan earlier, we factored in all of the units, including these 96 townhomes, and distributed the parks as such.
Does it have a playground, or is it just sort of an open space with benches?
Right on this site, it's open space with benches. There's some picnic tables, bike racks. There's a bike repair station, a piece of public art, but the playground itself is across the road in the neighborhood park, and there's a splash pad in that neighborhood park as well.
How about a shade structure?
I'd have to look at the plans. I don't recall off the top of my head if we have one included on there.
Thank you.
Laura, do you want to continue this hearing until he can get you an answer on that? Councilmember Welch.
Thank you for answering the questions about the parking spaces in the garages, because that was one of mine. The other one, on one of the slides, it said there was no access off of Main Street, but then looking at the sketches, it looks like there is access off Main Street.
Not off Main Street. The access ties into West Parker Road. So West Parker Road ties into Main, and then the access comes off of West Parker Road.
Gotcha. Okay. And then on the park and playground and the sod area, since the playground's going to be across the street and that's just open space, have you, and I know it's preliminary, so it's okay to say this is further down the road, but have you considered doing more water conservation stuff like Colorado Scape and, the no-touch sod areas so we don't have to water all of them?
Yeah, we'll be xeric in the landscape plans. We've tried to be attentive to that. It's becoming commonplace everywhere. And it's always trying to find that balance of a little bit of sod in active and usable areas and to provide connectivity and things to the park, and then being as native and xeric as we can be in those other areas. So yes, we'll be attentive to that.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, you have West Parker Road, so are you taking the old West Parker Road right away, or is it just a throwback to the way it was many years ago?
That right-of-way was dedicated earlier in the project. I think there's been one hearing that came before you recently, and I think there'll be one more for a little bit of right-of-way vacation.
Yeah.
And if memory serves, that was originally dedicated, I think, at 80 feet for a collector, and new standards for what this one should be is a 70-foot residential collector. So it was already platted and identified when I came to the project as West Parker Road.
I've been here a while, and I just remember that was it wasn't Ridgegate, it was West Parker Road if you went west. I mean, the plan looks good. I mean, the type of housing is something that we don't see too much of. The only thing, and again, it's really not material to this this agenda item, but everybody wants to know price point. Do you have a price point at this point in time?
Not really. As you know, we started on this a couple of years ago, and if we had told you a price point then, I'm sure it would have increased dramatically with inflation. Like, those things fluctuate. I know that Lennar wants to be as attainable as they can be with this, but in kind of a market rate condition, and so it's so tough to answer, and we're still a little ways out on getting through final CDs and everything else, so it's kind of a tough one.
Those are all the things we get after we leave. It's, why didn't you ask that question? So I've asked it, and thank you for the answer.
I like that. Attainable at market rate. I like that. So, Councilmember Hendricks.
No question.
Councilmember Barrington.
Councilmember Dyak asked my question. It was going to be, what will the base price be? But obviously, I know it's it's a ways out still. So, and they're attached garages, 164 attached, or?
Yes, they're all attached. They're alley loaded, so you come in off the alley into the garage, and the units are in front, either oriented towards the street or towards those open space paseos.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you. Criteria 2, consistency with land development ordinance and other town standards. My concern just comes on the park being located across West Parker Road, and safety of the children getting to and from. How do you plan, and is there a plan for a beacon? Is there a thought on anything like that? I just see West Parker becoming probably not an active shortcut, but a possible shortcut for folks, and I just worry about traffic on the bend there.
At this point, we hadn't planned for, didn't have a beacon or anything like that included. We can certainly, keep working with staff as we go through, because we still have to go through kind of the construction documents and final site plan. So certainly we can work with staff on that relationship.
I have no desire of amending or setting conditions. I just want to bring it to your attention that I do concern about, children crossing a road they see a slide and it's bright red, they're going for it.
And understood. We hope that there's not a lot of cut through traffic either, but sometimes if it's faster, people are going to find the way.
No, I think eventually we'll have a acceleration lane and a yield probably just straight onto Chambers North there, that we won't need people to find a shortcut.
Right.
My second question is, what is the process for you to get water from Stonegate Metro?
Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize. Our civil engineer couldn't make it tonight, but we've been working to get all the approvals through Stonegate. They've been a referral agent, and the engineer with Westwood has been coordinating with them constantly. I believe that this has been included in the district for quite a long time, so they've been anticipating it, presumably to what the PD allows with the 450 units, and we're actually under that. So, I believe they provided a will serve, and they have the capacity and everything else. I don't know the exact process, other than they've been reviewing all of the water and sewer plans and providing approvals all the way through this. So I know that the capacity's there, and they're prepared to serve, and we've coordinated with them on, just trail connectivity and those types of things, as well as the park's amenities to be included.
Well, I thank you. And I asked the question looking for that. The Stonegate Metro has to go through the process and ensure that they have the capacity and the will serve that they can meet the capacity for water draw. There's a lot of rumors and things going around Douglas County that we're running out of water, and et cetera, and the questions need to be asked. And then within your referral agency questions is, one, Stonegate Metro says they can serve you, but then Stonegate HOA turns around and says that the water is dwindling and we're not going to be able to have enough water to serve this community. So two competing organizations that historically probably have not gotten along are arguing within your own referral questions. So I just want to make sure that Stonegate Metro obviously has addressed and has to by law address that they have the ability to serve you, and thus they do. And then the other question in the referral from Stonegate HOA was increased traffic, 96 units. And I asked the question of the staff, you're dumping onto West Parker, which dumps onto Main and Chambers, can easily handle the day trips of 96 units on two major arteries, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Thank you. We may have you back after a public comment on this, so to address anything. But I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment at 7:56 on this. Anyone from the public wishing to make comment on the Newland Crossing Townhome Sketch and preliminary plan, come on forward. All right, I'm going to close that at 7:56 and bring it back to council. Council, final comments or debate? I'll start in reverse order. Councilmember Rivero?
No comments, no debate. In front of us are 5 criteria for consideration. 1, consistent with the master plan. 2, consistent with LDO. 3, consistent with plan development guide. 4, consistent with previous approvals and plans. And then 5, notice requirements were met. I find in favor of all 5 criteria. I will be voting yes.
Great. Councilmember Barrington?
I agree with Councilmember Rivero that it's met all the criteria, and I just think that our community is in need of townhomes. So, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
I'll echo what my fellow council member said. It meets the criteria, and seeing this type of product is welcome in town in Parker.
Councilmember Dyack?
Yeah, I can't top my previous council members. I'll just say I agree.
Councilmember Wilkes?
I agree.
And Councilmember Hefta?
Yes. Thank you for your presentation. As a former townhome owner, not in Parker, I would just like to address a few things to encourage you to have enough shade structures and enough benches. Overdo it if you can. Because the populations you're serving in townhomes, as I have experience in this, is a senior population of retired individuals, single-parent homes with children. Those are the greatest numbers. Then you would have couples, probably the over 50 crowd, again, moving from another state. And then you would have families. So this is what I observed from my previous experience of living in townhomes. And so those folks are going to want a place to sit down and enjoy themselves in the community. And I echo Councilmember Rivero's comments about children and crossing on the traffic. I agree with that completely. You will have that issue in the future, so we do need to work that out. But that's who you're serving in a townhome community. And a townhome community is a gateway to home ownership for some people, but it's downsizing for other folks. And there's many folks that I run into in the community that want to retire near their children they have grandchildren. So that is the population you're serving in this beautiful townhome community, and I just want you to keep that in mind. Thank you for your presentation.
Great, thank you. And just for the record, the public comment closed at 7:57 and the public hearing also closed at 7:57. So with that, I'll entertain a motion on this public hearing on Newland Crossing Townhome Sketch and Preliminary Plan.
I move to approve this, with my glasses, I move to approve the sketch plan based on staff findings contained in the staff report. I move to approve the preliminary plan.
One at a time.
No?
One at a time.
Sorry, pause.
Correct, one at a time.
And I move to approve the preliminary plan. Oh, sorry, do we need to vote?
Yeah, that one.
Sorry.
Second.
Okay, motion is made by Barrington. Can you restate the motion for me?
Let me just do this.
All right, let's just.
I get a do-over
Just for
here.
clarity.
I just need to keep my glasses on at all times. I move to approve the sketch plan based on staff findings contained in the staff report.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Hefta. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Now on to the preliminary plan.
I move to approve the preliminary plan based on staff findings contained in the staff report.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Rivero. Rivero?
I did it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Todd. Seconded by, motion was made by, my glasses are even on too. Made by Barrington, seconded by Hendricks. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Your hearing aids, yes.
Dyak? Wilkes?
Aye.
And that passes. And Hefta?
Hefta, thank
Sorry.
you. Yes.
That passes 6-0. You got me all off on the hearing aids thing, because, all right. And Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Collins from Parks and Rec can tell you all about the requirements for shade structures everywhere. He's well-versed in it. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Julie.
All right, next is contracts over $500,000, and Mr. Collins is here on two of that. The first is on the Lemon Gulch Trail improvements.
On here. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Here tonight asking for approval of a construction contract with Jalisco International Incorporated for the Lemon Gulch Trail improvements. Kind of the background on this is 2021, 2022, a 10-foot wide concrete trail was installed by the Metal Arc subdivision. The town is now going to complete that trail, shown on the green line, all the way through to Stroh Park, which will get you to Cherry Creek Trail. The entire project will connect the trails at Crowfoot. Most likely, some folks from Looking Glass will make their way down to the Crowfoot Valley Road and then hit this connection to get over to Cherry Creek. And then, of course, Metal Arc will be able to participate in the trail. And then the future Coyle property, when that develops, will be connected to this so they can get down to Cherry Creek as well. The project includes a low water crossing of Lemon Gulch, which is a sculpted concrete drop structure. And then there's an underpass at Stroh Road to get over to the Stroh Soccer Park. So we bid the project out on September 12th, 2023. We received 3 bids ranging from $2,489,041 to $3,323,501. The lowest conforming bid is Jalisco International, Inc. Jalisco just completed the High Plains Trail Bridge and that Main Street North Sidewalk Improvements project. So they've done some good work for the town here recently. So for the construction schedule, I think we're recommending award a construction contract tonight. We're looking at the anticipated construction schedule to start here in late October and go through August of 2024. The recommendation from staff is approval of a construction contract with Jalisco International, Inc. in the amount of $2,489,041. And we do have funds available to cover the construction costs in the 2023 Parks and Recreation Fund. Take any questions.
Councilmember Dyak, you want to start us off?
No questions, thanks.
All right. Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions. Actually, one question. How long is the sidewalk? Do we know how many feet?
It's about 3/4 of a mile.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
When can we expect completion of such project?
So the construction contract is through August of 2024. So that's when we're looking at. We're going to build the, we have to build the drops within the creek there, and then we'll do the trail next summer.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
And Councilmember Rivero?
Thank you. The drops in the creek, is that on Newland, or is that on Lemon? Or
Lemon
is that-
Gulch, yes.
That's on Lemon. That is not on the Cherry Creek.
No, that's on
Okay.
Lemon Gulch.
Sorry, you
in
said
order
creek. You scared me. I'm sorry.
Lemon Gulch, sorry.
No, not at all.
It is a creek too,
Yeah, no, okay,
but
thank
it
you.
is called Lemon Gulch.
Yes, thank you.
All right, with that, we'll open this up for public comment at 8:04. Anyone wishing to comment on this contract? Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:04. And comments from the council? Councilmember Dyak?
Again, I mean, another great presentation by Brett. I appreciate, we got more than one bid, so, and I'm very familiar with the constructors, so I'm supportive.
Great. Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions or comments, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Can I ask a semi-question again?
Is it in the form of a comment?
Yeah. You'll be able to ride your bike on this?
Yeah, it's a 10-foot wide concrete trail.
Okay, that's what I thought. Sorry. I just want to note for the record that my family actually takes that bike ride all the time, and we stop at the soccer park right there. So this is very exciting for me because it's going to extend my bike ride and my family's bike ride. So thank you so much.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No comments, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Rivera?
I think this is more in line where the companies are above the engineer's estimate. We've seen some shocking ones lately that the engineer's estimate is higher than some of the bids. What's in front of us is is the lowest responsible bidder adequate? And I think the question is well answered. Jalisco is incredibly adequate. They came in on time and on budget for the Main Street project. I think we all watched them do the High Plains Trail across Parker Road. I think we are lucky to have them as the lowest responsible bidder. I'm in favor.
With that, I'll entertain a motion on the Lemon Gulch Trail Improvements Contract.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Hefta, seconded by Barrington. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Next up is the O'Brien Park Streetscape Construction Contract, and this is continued from September 18th meeting.
Yes, here tonight to ask for approval of a construction contract with Sibyl Civil and Landscape LLC for the O'Brien Park Streetscape, I can say that. This project is part of the P3 downtown placemaking improvements that have been going on for the last several years. And includes improvements to the south and west perimeter of O'Brien Park. We'll have landscaping, irrigation, a new art pad, some steel panels to match in with the Pace Center steel panels to tie that together with that building, concrete seat walls, and then berms. You've seen this before. Went to Planning Commission as a site plan and got recommended to Town Council on February 23rd. And then Town Council approved the site plan on March 6th, 2023. So this one we put out to bid publicly on August 31st, and we received 5 bids ranging from $536,091.27 to $1,198,950. The lowest conforming bid is from Sibyl Civil Landscape and LLC. Sibyl's has performed excellent work for the town on the Auburn Hills Park in 2020. They haven't done any work since then, but from what I was told that they actually did complete that job in a timely manner and were a good contractor. The construction's contract award hopefully is tonight. Anticipated construction schedule is October 23rd through May 2024, and we're trying to beat the June Parker Days Festival. So we're kind of fitting it in in winter and spring, which will be a little bit interesting with the weather, but I think we can do it. For the recommendation, staff is recommending approval of the construction contract with Sibyl Civil and Landscape LLC in the amount of $536,091.27, and also including a 15% project contingency in the amount of $80,413 for a total project cost of $616,504.27. And we do have funds available to cover the construction costs in the 2023 Urban Renewal Fund. So with that, I'd take any questions.
Great. Councilman Rivera, you want to kick us off on that?
Thank you. Obviously, Sibyl's, we did have a wide range from 536 to 1.2 billion. Was there a confirmation from Sibyl's that everything in their bid was included?
Yeah, and the engineer's estimate was around 500,000. So they were a little bit over what our engineer's estimate was. And yes, we did have that conversation. They feel very comfortable with their bid.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Great. Councilman Barrington?
That answers my question, too. Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilman Dyak?
No questions.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions, thank you.
And Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you for your presentation.
All right, with that, I'll open it up for public comment at 8:10. Anyone wishing to make public comment on the O'Brien Streetscape construction contract? Mr. Adams, last one of the night. All right, okay, all right, just wanted to make sure. All right, with that, we'll close the public comment at 8:10 and bring it back to council in the same order for any closing comments. Councilman Rivero?
Thank you. This project has been in the want for years. It is not as inviting as it could be to have a metal fence keeping people into a park or showing a park is open to the public. I know that the fence was done out of necessity with people darting across to Baskin-Robbins et al., and it was definitely needed, but it'd be nice to use a different form of persuasion, something that's a little bit prettier to the eye and more conforming to a park. As was stated earlier with Jalisco, I do understand how upstanding Sabel's is, and I'm ecstatic again here in this situation that they are the winning bidder.
Councilmember Barrington?
The view from my office just got better. Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Yeah, this looks like a great project. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, this has been talked about for a number of years. We talked about it in concept. To finally see some schematics and see it go into construction is fantastic. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Well, obviously, I love that it's not this non-use sod that's just going to suck up our water. I love the design, and I love the colorfulness, and I love that it also is going to help bring people in. So thank you.
Great. And Councilmember Hefta?
I just want to point out that the funds are available to cover construction cost in the 2023 Urban Renewal Fund. And if anybody wants to learn more about P3 or Parker P3 and the Urban Renewal Fund, they can go to www.p3parker.com to understand what that fund is in the town of Parker.
Great. With that, I'll entertain a motion on O'Brien Park Streetscape Construction Contract.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Barrington. I'm sorry. Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Rivero. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. With no other business before the Parker Town Council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Barrington. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 6-0, and we're adjourned at 8:12. Thank you all.